Are you thinking about moving here to Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, but you're not sure which area of the city you want to live in? Well, today I'm going to explain a little bit about each district and hopefully help you make the right choice for you. Ahoy from Prague, I'm Paul Colto. This is Yoshin and I've lived here for 5 years, and as a teacher I've explored the city a lot. I've been to lots of pubs, gigs, festivals, you name it, and so I think I know the city pretty well, and hopefully today I can give you a good idea of where might be the right place for you to live if you move to this beautiful city. So Prague 1 is the old historical centre. It has the Charles Bridge and Prague Castle. It's a magical, spellbinding, area that's almost just lost in time. It's one of the most stunning areas I think in the world. It's UNESCO and it's obviously a very beautiful place to live, but because of that it's extremely expensive. To rent even a room or your own place is going to be costly. It's also absolutely packed with tourists for most of the year. All the restaurants are quite expensive because of that, and I have a friend who lived there for a while, and I remember the look on his face when I asked him what it was like living in that district, and it was one of horror. So it's unbelievably beautiful, but because of that, expensive and full of tourists. Prague 2 is also part of the historic old town. It's very, very beautiful. It's lively, it's got fantastic restaurants and pubs, but because of all that, it is quite expensive as well. Now it includes the area of Vinohrady, which is very popular with expats. Vinohrady does not have so many tourists, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's popular with expats, because it is also quite close to the centre, and it's beautiful, Vinohrady. It means wine castle, I think, if you translate it, wine castles to English. And it's a stunning, stunning area, and if I had all the money in the world, I would probably live there. But as always, it's quite expensive because it's a beautiful area. It's not quite as expensive as Prague 1. Lots of expats move there when they first arrive, so it might be a place to really consider looking at if you can afford it. Prague 3 is Žižkov, which is a little bit rough and ready, but it has a really special, unique atmosphere. I often compare it to Camden Town in London. There's almost no tourists. There's a great pub scene, perhaps the best in the city. There's nice parks. It's affordable, but it's a slightly acquired taste, and some people might find it a tiny bit sketchy or sleazy at night in certain parts. I can see how especially female travellers may find it a little bit too much when they first arrive. So what I recommend is that you probably don't go there first, but you check it out after you've arrived, and it may well be somewhere you want to live later on. And because it's not quite as mind-blowingly beautiful as Prague 1 and Prague 2, it's slightly more affordable, and it's so close to the centre. Prague 4 is to the south. It's large, it's sprawling, and it's got a lot of the old communist tower blocks which are known as paneláky. It's not seen as a particularly attractive place for expats to live, especially when they first arrive. I think it has its own charm, and it's not as far from the centre as people think. But if you're moving here for the first time, you're probably going to want to be a lot closer to the heart of the action, and that isn't Prague 4. But because it's not that close to the centre, it is quite an affordable option. Prague 5 is very pleasant, it's close to the river, it has great transport connections and a big shopping centre. It can be pricey, but I really recommend checking it out. Prague 6 is a beautiful area. It's full of villas and embassies because it's quite close to Prague Castle, and it's quite close to the centre, and because of that it is quite pricey. But it's definitely worth checking out, and it is close to the airport too. Prague 7, the two core districts in Prague 7 are Letna and Holešovice. These two districts are packed with great cafes, great pubs, great restaurants. Letna Park has a view over the whole of the, panoramic Prague skyline with an amazing beer garden there. And there's also Stromovka Park there, which is, I think, perhaps the most sort of aesthetically pleasing park in the city. It's lovely. Up until maybe 1 year ago, it was the hipster heart of the city. Now, arguably, that's shifting towards Vršovice, which I'll talk about later, but it's still got a very much young, urban, creative feel about it, and there's not many tourists, and it is close to the centre, and it's quite affordable. It's a really, really good option, and lots of people do move there. Prague 8 is centred around Karlín, and this is a very, very upcoming area. About 15 or 20 years ago, Karlín was not a very desirable place to live, but now it's becoming so gentrified. There are fantastic restaurants, fantastic cafes. It's got a really nice atmosphere. There's a lot of offices and companies there, and a lot of English speaking I hear whenever I walk through Prague Gate. It's definitely worth looking at because the prices I think are pretty good. It's extremely close to the centre, and as I say, it's really up and coming, so check it out. Prague 9 is probably the one part of Prague I don't know very well because it's sort of detached up in the top right hand northeast corner. And there's not, as far as I know, not so much going on up there. It's quite residential and therefore probably quite affordable, but when you first arrive you will probably want to live a little bit closer to the action. And finally, Prague 10. This is where I live and Jožin lives, and we love it, don't we, Jožin? Yes! Prague 10 includes Vršovice, which I mentioned earlier, which is like the new hipster capital of Prague. It's got amazing pubs, amazing cafes, amazing concert venues. It's got a great festival once a year called Corso Krimska, which is on the big main hipster street, which I think is very popular, especially with expats and new arrivals. I live in a different part of Prague 10, which is a bit more sedate. It's got beautiful tree-lined streets and the trams roll up and down. You can hear the birds singing. There's lovely little cafes and restaurants as ever. It's got a nice town feel, I feel. Lots of young professionals live here, and it's very well served by public transport. You can quickly get to lovely places like Hostivařská Přehrada, which is a big sort of park, and big lake, big dam where you can go swimming in the summer and sunbathe. It's got Manašický park, which is a very modern sort of park with all these crazy like water things going on. And that's Prague 10. I love it. It's affordable. You get more for your money here, so consider it. So those are my thoughts, simple and condensed on the 10 different core districts in the centre of Prague. Now I invite anyone else from Prague or who has experienced life here to add their comments below about their experiences in those different districts, so the people that watch this video can get my opinion and also opinions from those people as well. If you're coming to Prague to study or to become an English teacher, then I guess the areas that would probably tick most of your boxes would be Prague 7, Prague 2 if you can afford it, and then 5, 6 and 10 and 3 if you're feeling brave are all awesome as well. I really hope that helps. I hope you're getting excited about moving to this fantastic city. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel to get more videos like this every Sunday. I post videos on 4 different topics at the moment. One is international relocation advice. Another is ESL teaching advice. A third are videos like this, which is moving to Prague advice. And finally, I make some other little bits of fun as well. So I recommend you check those out. For now, from Jožin, from Prague, and from me, toot toot.